Hello and welcome back to the finishing line for another one of our episodes, and this time we are going to be doing our weekend review of some of the really good action that we've had actually across this weekend. We've had some really good races from Cheltenham, Doncaster, lots of things to talk about, and of course we're getting to all of the good performances all in good time. But first of all, let's say hello to the lads. Andrew, how you doing after this weekend? It was pretty special, wasn't it?
Oh, that was a right weekend to get the appetite ready for next week. I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Like, we had Ashroe Diamond hosing up, then Sean thinking there, Mayor's Hurdle wrapped up. Half an hour later, this thing just comes out of nowhere and wins by half the track. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be some race.
We'll get all into that then shortly. And Sean, how are you doing?
Yeah, an epic weekend, Joe. As you said, it doesn't get much better than that Saturday. I think I was feet up at 11:30 trying to count down to half an hour to get to Cheltenham, and the first race was a cracker. And then you were gone for the best part of 4 or 5 hours. It was unbelievable. But look, it hasn't got a shade on what's going to happen this weekend, is it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Honestly, I've been buzzing to get on with you guys today and just start talking about it. I've got some really wicked stuff to obviously get stuck into. The Dublin Racing Festival is just a few days away now. I'll be over there with the lads and loads of others too, but we will get onto that obviously as the week goes on. We're going to start off by taking a look at Cheltenham and Doncaster, etc., etc. And as usual, drop your comments in the section by the side. We will obviously have a look at some of those as we go through, and obviously we'll go from there. Right then, lads, there's only one place to start, and of course that is the home of racing. That's Cheltenham. We had the 12:05, the Triumph Trial. And look, we had a seriously impressive winner here in Sergino. He ended up going off favourite for the race. He, of course, beat Bird at Road by 5 lengths. Pretty hands and heels by the end of the race as well. Andrew, you must have been pretty taken by that performance. Hard not to be, right?
This was a slick performance. Now he stamped in class. Look, I had my reservations. I thought he'd win this race, but I had my reservations as a for him going forward his jumping. But my God, his jumping improved no end. He travelled behind on the bridle so much ease, so much class. I think there's a shot down the back straight where he's about 10 lengths off the leader, and all of a sudden, just seeing a blink of an eye, just slowly creeping and grabbing him. He never looked in any danger. He's going to be mighty hard to beat at the Cheltenham Festival. And again, we have all Willies and the Irish horses run next weekend. But look, it adds so much more spice to the Triumph Hurdle now. We have the Irish English class as always. We're going to have Sergino versus whatever we're going to win next weekend. But look, somebody out of Close Sutton or out of Gordon's is going to have to put up some hell of a performance next week to be on the radar to beat this thing. Sean spotted this horse at the start of the season. He put him up as a horse that could be to follow, and look, he spotted him rightly so. This thing is very, very good. He passed the eye test. He was just traveling all over this. He jumped the last, and you're expecting James Bone to give him a squeeze. He didn't have to. He just sat there. He gave him a little flick of the reins and he just extended his stride. It was when he gave him the little shake of the reins you could actually see the extension in his stride, which was the most impressive. Look, he put Burdock Road in his place quite convincingly, and I think that'll always be the case. Look, Burdock Road again. He's jumping was a hell of a lot better, to be fair, from Burdock Road. But for some reason, the spark wasn't there. There was no, it looked like coming down the hill. He was getting close. When he jumped just before the last year, expecting this burst of pace when Harry brought him over to the side to get him away from Sergino. And just there was no real response. Whether that was just not his true running or not, we don't know, because the horse that he beat at Cheltenham, Melantino, he beat him by about 9 or 10 lengths last time. He only beat him by a length there. So whether that's his true running or not, we don't know. But, geez, you couldn't be but impressed by Sergino.
Yeah, I was sort of quite concerned for my Sergino ticket when I saw Bird at Road actually jumping quite slick. I was like, oh wait, he's improved again here. But it was ran to suit Bird at Road, and he had no answers for it. Sergino was just gone. He looks like an Arco horse, doesn't he, for next year? I know this is a long way ahead, but he looks the sort, doesn't he? Proper nice.
He's a fine big horse. He's not a 4-year-old by any stretch of the imagination. Once he starts growing into his frame, he could be anything.
Yeah. big horse and fast. I mean, what more can you ask for? He usually take a bit of time to get hold of, but he was rapid, and he's a nice, big, sort of imposing gelding. Sean,
I just find it hard as their 4-year-olds to really get sucked in. I got sucked in with Gosham one year, and I just want to see him do it a 5-year-old campaign. Just get through it nice and easy, and then we'll hit like what they're doing, similar to what they're doing with Lossiemouth. Just carefully plan. We don't have to win the champion hurdle as a 5-year-old or go chasing straight away. Just take that season to progress him and get him used to racing against the big boys. Just race him sparingly, and then when he hits the 6-year-old campaign, then start firing him at the big boys.
Definitely sets the benchmark now, though, doesn't he? Like, he might be 6-4, but you wouldn't want to give anyone 3-1 based on what we've seen from him and maybe some of the others at this point, would you? But I suppose at that point it leads on for us next week when we find out the cream of the crop from the Irish side, I guess, from your side of the water. Like, but Sean, what do you think of the race? Pretty impressive.
Yeah, he was epic. Now, to be honest with you, look, I think. I'd say if Bordet Road now hasn't ran too far below, if he has run below, there's a £5 swing this time with Melantino, and they changed tactics. They booked Melantino out this time. He was first key in the first day, and they went out a solid gallop and Sergino's tracked him the whole way. He's just slipstreaming them. You had Bordet Road in behind. They went a solid gallop, I thought, to be quite honest with you. He took them all the way down, and there was a shot when they swung around. They were coming down the hill, and I was looking at Jonbon trying to keep tight to Melantino. I thought he was riding for toe. I thought he would have went on and stretched, but he kept looking for Bordet Road in behind, and he was keen to keep him in the pocket there the whole way down the hill. He had Captain on his inside. But then when he let this lad go, sweet Jesus, I didn't expect it at all, to be quite honest with you. I thought he might have stretched him from further out, but the turn of gear this lad had, like, I was always worried Bordet Road, having the quicken to get to him and quicken to go by, he's going to have to be a monster, and that's exactly what he had to do. As soon as he quickened to try and get up alongside Sergino pressed on, and that was it. It was good night after jump the last. You still seen him, he's a bit raw at the last. He has a good long look at it, and then he bunny hops up over it, and Jonbon gets into him, and look, he was confident. He had Cobden covered the whole way up. He's asked him and squeezed, and he's put 10 lengths into him. I thought it was epic, to be honest with you, and that is definitely the top contender now. There's going to have to be something that'll come out and win that spring juvenile, but I'd say quite looking like he could have won it by 3 or 4 lengths, because I'd say that's the level you've got to. As Andrew touched on, like, this lad came over from France, and the talking horse that was in behind as well is Salvador Mundi. Now, you could see him thrown in first time, but I'd just say he was quite raw, and he looked like someone who would come on a lot. And I don't know if a spring juvenile that looks like it's going to have probably 10 plus runners, if not a couple more, and it's ultra competitive. I don't know if the hustle and bustle first time out, he might be beaten, but he could be the best horse in the race. So I'd be wary about backing him. I'd say he's well found now. There's no doubt about that. And you probably go off short on the day. But Salvador Mundi is sort of that form line that he could bring in. And if you ask me personally, when they met in France, I probably would have put my house on saying Salvador Mundi was going to come on a lot for the experience and probably turn the form. So I'll be excited to see what happens at the Dublin Racing Festival. He is the springer, but then of course you have a list of them in there at the DRF that could throw her up. But no doubt Sergino leads the way now at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. Like, Salvatore Mundi's one I've already taken a swipe at before we've even seen him, just based on his French form, because in the run against Sergino, he came from quite a way back, didn't he? So perhaps different tactics could spur something on. Yeah. Probably not wise backing a horse that you haven't seen sort of run over here, but I was tempted to do it with Lossie last season. I missed all the price, so I've just taken a swipe at Salvatore Mundi and hope a similar thing happens, really. But yeah, really impressive, and probably the right favourite at the right time for the Triumph. Okay, so we take a look at the 12:40 next. We have the novice handicap chase. This was won by Ginny's Destiny, who has now won 3 chases in a row. Ran his previous 4 starts actually at Cheltenham, but one on the old course, and has now won twice on the new course. But he's 9-1 for the Turners, and even though he's a lightly raced sort, he's an 8-year-old of only 10 runs, and he probably is borderline a graded horse. I can't see him making an impact in the Turners. Can you, Andrew? Or
with Gaelic Warrior there, no, but look, he kind of done
possibly.
Yeah, look, he kind of done a similar thing with Stage Star last season, and I was just going through it before we came on the Turners betting. Like, this will more or less kind of depend on what Garlic Bread, also known as Gaelic Warrior, does next week over 2 miles. As if he runs over 2 miles, he's only entered there, so I presume he is running. According to Willie, everything he has entered is running next week, which is unbelievable. But that, I think it will all depend on what he does. And then if you go take Gaelic Warrior out of it, you kind of have horses who are kind of like they're all right, but what are they really? If Fast Vega needs the, he just needs to turn a corner massively. Corpus Cross, that he's going to the 4 miler apparently. In fact, the 5 won't run here. Found a 50 might, Hermes Allen might. Then you're into horses like Grey Dawn, he'll step up. Nick Rocket's not going to run here. Elite de France. It will cut up massively if Gaelic Warrior gets rerouted. This will only happen now if he beats Marine Nationale next week. But in terms of that, if you fancy him, I'm running no bet. I wouldn't put anyone off betting him, because the strength and depth when you take Gaelic Warrior out of it isn't great in the slightest. And he's the horse that's proven at the track, who's winning big handicaps, kind of same style as Stage Star last season. Mm-hmm. And there's a much of a muchness raced after that. But if Gaelic Warrior's there, you'd find it very, very hard to beat him. Look, it was a very impressive performance. I liked this chance. I thought he had the best form by country mile on it. It looked like he had a lot left under the bonnet. And, if a horse gets into a rhythm at Cheltenham, they're very hard to pay him back around the chase courses. I wouldn't put anyone off him, but if Gaelic Warrior's there, he wouldn't be for me.
Yeah. One thing you say about Ginny's Destiny is he just jumps for fun, doesn't he? Sean, what did you make of that performance? Pretty decent, wasn't it? But, also with regards to Cheltenham, where do you also see him?
Yeah, look, he was very good off the front now, hanging about, and I think they've always liked this fella, and they just wanted to take it a little bit steadier with him. Look, he's an 8-year-old, so I don't know if something went wrong maybe earlier in his career, but he's at his prime years now, and look, he showed all his experience. He's booked out, he's jumped around, and he's made all. And to be honest, he won a bit snug in the end. In terms of Turners, I can see him sort of being what we say the wise guy horse, to be honest with you, because there'll be lads that'll throw darts at Gaelic Warrior going left-handed, rightly so. There'll be other people looking down the market and saying, like Fasa Vega, Factor Foil, Hermes Allen, who's going to quite turn up? And he's sort of priced now. I think he's about 6 or 7 to 1. I'm just looking on the exchanges here. I don't know where he is on the bookies, but if he was one that people were taking each way, I can't see him being that far away. And off the front at that track, he's shown that he's dangerous, and you won't want to underperform to be like, if the Gaelic Warrior was to go there now and start jumping right, you'd be worried about how many lengths he can give these sort of horses. But look, very professional, one with a top weight, and he deserves the space to go now into the Turners.
That's it. Yeah,
best price 9 to 1.
Yeah, 9 to 1 at the moment.
Is it?
It's not the worst entry price, but for me, similar to Andrew, if Gaelic's there, then you're playing for place money, aren't you? Really, that's the issue. But
behind that, you could end up with a 7-8 runner field again, and then you're sitting queue. You could nearly have 2 going for you in the race, and you're still making money.
That's the thing, isn't it? And it might even cut more than that, to be honest. From what's in the lineup,
could be a 5-6 runner. Could be very few horses that turn up in this.
He jumped to fun. He doesn't do much wrong. He's a front runner. She'll stay out of plenty of trouble too.
He's solid, as what you say.
Yeah, that's it. Whether he's quite classy enough. He's only had the 10 runs though, so he could still improve. But he has improved, hasn't he?
He's 3 for 4 over fences. I think he was beat off 135 at the start of the season, but now he's a 147. That'll be
147.
That'll be changed tomorrow at some stage. He's in there with a chance.
Not easy to win at Cheltenham on your first start as well, so you can forgive him for getting beat there. And then he won on the old course and new course again. It's a good performance. Okay, lads, let's move on, because this is one I struggled to weigh up completely. I do have an idea what I think of the race. We've got the 150, the Cotswold Chase, the Grade 2. It was won by Capodanno, who obviously didn't go unsupported on the day. The Real Whacker stayed on again to finish second, and then Stay Away Faye. A really big performance, to be honest, as a novice, back in third. Let's go with you, Sean. What did you think? Because I didn't expect this myself.
Look, first off, I think you need to hold your hat up to Paul Townend. I thought he gave this an absolute smashing ride, and this tells you why he's Willie's number 1 and why he's far above the rest. But look, we touched on him earlier in the week when we were doing the previous show. We weren't sure he was going to turn up, and if he was to turn up, he was a wicked out price of 8 or 9 to 1 earlier in the week. If anyone took that, they were rubbing their hands on the day when he comes in at 7 to 2. But I think when the race heated up a good bit out, and Paul Townend sat and took his medicine down the back straight, and that paid the whole way coming back home. You seen they went down the hill. I think there was 4 or 5 of them in the mix going down the 3 out, and Stay Away Faye just picked coming over that one, and then he picked back up, and it was him and Capodanno. Look, the lurkers coming around the field, but Jesus, this Capodanno came up and sat beside Stay Away Faye. You thought Stay Away Faye would stay all day, and I thought maybe Capodanno what would he find as much off the bridle? But geez, they didn't jump the second last, and they went around it, and Paul Down and kicked this lad on, and he made lengths. In terms of where he goes, I think I read he doesn't have a Gold Cup entry, so he could be a springer for a Ryanair. I don't know what sort of price he is. He could be around 14 to 1, I'd say. He could be a springer in there in that market that was blown open with Allaho now missing. He could be one at a big price, but the real whacker sort of came back to a decent level of form. I don't think he's quite the same horse. And then Stay Away Faye you have back in third. I don't know what that race has done to him now, and I'd be windy going into Cheltenham. Like, there was a good reasons to miss that race, in my opinion. I thought he could have went to Warwick in the 3 mile race and took on the novices, but he's took a hard race there, in my opinion. He's that third last where he picked. He asked for a lot and he's come home. So I don't know if that's maybe taking the edge off and going into Cheltenham. I'd be windy on him now, to be honest with you.
What did you think of the horses in behind? Because it was a bit of an interesting race with the whackers staying on in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These lads sort of took her up, and then he came back through them all. And I thought you were guaranteed that Stay Away Faye would be hitting the line as hard as anything. And the real whacker's gone by him. The Ahoy Senor has fallen away in the end, and sadly we lost. That's all right. Gino and Royal Pagoy came down at the last, was it? I think it was the last he came down. So, look, they were in the mix there, but Capodanno was well the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Great ride from Paul, like you said. He was probably the only one for me who actually rode the race properly. He sat in behind. He picked off the pace when obviously Wacker and Co were going quite fast up front. Andrew, what did you make of the race? Of course, he started off at, like you said, 8-9. I didn't fancy him in the week, but you and Sean did say that he was overpriced, and of course he ended up going on to win it 7-2 as well. I mean, were you impressed with it, and where do you think he goes next?
I woke up Saturday morning, I opened my phone, I went on to the bookmakers, and I seen his price collapsing, and my heart sunk. I was like, this is the one that's after getting away. I was trying to convince myself on Wednesday, give yourself a reason to put him up. I was like, he's 8-1, he's hardly going to bring him over, he's 8-1. I should have done a Noble Yeats punt like Sean done and just took the chance. Oh, it broke, man. I seen him gone into 7-2. I was like, this fella's going to win. I'm at the back and Stay Away Faye already. I'm not going back in again. But start with Capodanno. Look, as Sean alluded there, Paul gave this a lovely, lovely ride. He let the boys out in front take each other on about the last half mile, and he just sat in and he took it up going up the hill. It was very impressive performance. Look, as I said in the preview, it looked like he was coming back to himself with the third behind Gallup and Champ. But was he going to back it up? You don't know. He was still beating 20 odd lengths. You were kind of him and hawing. Where he goes next, look, Sean said there he's entered a Ryanair. I think everything will happen too fast in a Ryanair. I don't think his jumper will stand up to it. He's not the greatest jumper in the world. There's talk of Grand National again. He had a spin around there last season. He's a pound lower than he was last year. But again, will the jump and hold up to? He's I'd say that's him done winning for a season, unless they cut ties now and they just go Punchestown Festival and Aintree. Tracks like that might suit him better when horses are after running at Cheltenham and they might be a bit over the top. That might be where they might aim with him, because he's not good. I can't see him winning the Ryanair because the pace they'll go on and him sorting his feet out and all that. But yeah, look, a very good performance. The real whacker, that was a weird run. But he kind of looked like he was going to fade away and he ran on again. He kind of looked something back to his normal self, but he's a horse you kind of don't really want to trust again until he actually puts in it back-to-back performances. Stay Away Faye, weird run again. Looked like he was going to win at one stage, 2 out, and then all of a sudden he was stopping. He was just stopping going up the hill, and all of a sudden the last 75-50 yards he started firing on again. Whether that's taking the edge off him, whether Paul has left a bit to work with, I don't know. This is just going on what he done with Stage Star. He left a bit to work on some of the horses that a bit out to Cheltenham. Whether he's done this with him, I don't know. I have him in the book already. So look, I'm not going to complain about it. It was a good run against the Open Company, and I like the way he ran on again at the end. I won't be put off him for the Browns, but I still find it hard that he's going to beat a horse like a Factifoil or Grange Clare West. I find it hard for him to get to that level, because them two boys are putting in massive performance at Christmas time, and we're going to see him next week. Hopefully, go against each other, and that'll probably sort out the two of them at the top of the market. But all in all, it was a good race to watch. all the things that happened. Look, it was unfortunate that all right, Gino had a fatal fall. Royal Pagaya, as we thought, Cheltenham was not really his track. He dropped out to 6-1 at one stage. He was coming to the end of his tether when he fell. Ahoy Senior ran his weird race as always. But look, a good race, hard to kind of to make out of it. But yeah, instead of confusing myself and everyone else, it's one that you'll have to see who's going where next and what's that's entertaining him out of him. But all in all, it was a good race.
Yeah, difficult one to weigh up. The only thing I got out of this positively was that as soon as I saw Capodanno getting backed and realised that he was going to be fit for purpose, then I just lumped on Lossie at 4-7. Now, I know that's a really short price, but if Capodanno was coming over fit, there's no way that Lossiemouth wasn't going to come over fit. That was spectacular. But yeah, regarding the console chase...
Did you do your estate man dance?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
You probably took some of my money, Joe.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah,
let's get on to that now. People are going to slate me for Noble Yeats. You're not getting away with Lossiemouth, sir.
Right then, lads. Let's move on to the Clarence House. Then, of course, we had a bit of a surprise result here. Of course, of Elixir de Nuit winning. Jonbon beaten at 1-4. I know people said he still ran a good race because he managed to finish close up, but he really didn't quite look like himself. Hard to put your finger on what it was. Just looked a little bit lethargic, wasn't quite necessarily as exuberant as he was before. Andrew, what did you make of Jon Bon Jovi?
Jon Bon Jovi. Yes. Didn't jump in particularly well at all. Like I like to go back and watch these races and look at her jumping. And look, I put a few notes together. I say notes together, just my observation from fence 1 to 14. So like for the first 2 fences he jumped all right. The third one he got in really tight, screwed it and was really messy overs. 4th was fine. 5th he got in tight again, lost ground. 7th he was slow and tight again. 8th he was slow. 9th he jumped out to his left massively and into the back of the horses. The 10th was his best jump by far in the whole race. The 11th is where he nearly killed himself. Kaboom, straight through it. How he stood up, I don't know. 12th, he was careful, but the winner also made a bad mistake at that fence as well. 13th, good. 14th, slow, stuttered into it, high and careful again. His confidence, people say his confidence was knocked after he made a mistake. He was not jumping with any fluency whatsoever throughout the race. I know he has a tendency to throw in, not a bad run, but oh my God, he's going to get beat run. Like he done it last year at Warwick in a 2-horse race against Dan Skelton's horse, Calico. Yeah. And he done it in the race that Jeriko won the year before that as well. So we whether this is his kind of time of year, we don't know, but it's very, very hard to have any confidence with him now for an Arkle after that. You can say what you want about it, but if you have a horse like that, people are always going to crab El Fabiolo's jumping. Jonbon's has not been much better than his last when El Fabiolo beat him at Cheltenham and on the weekend. I don't know what it is with him. I used to love this horse, and all of a sudden I feel like he's going backwards very rapidly. Like you go back to the Tingle Creek, that in hindsight, hindsight's a great thing in life. In hindsight, that was not the greatest performance in the world. I'm just going to get that result up in front of me 2 seconds. I remember Edward Stone was in behind him. He went off. I know it was over a longer trip, and he's after getting walloped. Newbury Negra, less we say about that horse now, the better. He was in behind him as well, so he's a shit horse all in all. So you can't really compare to that. But that race again was not the best. You have Hackett Dozobo, who if you priced him up for a champion chase, what price would he be? 33s, 40s. So all in all, I think he's slow, not on the downgrade massively, but he's not matching his novice performances whatsoever. So I would have. Go on.
Would you send him up to the Ryanair? This is like the debate everyone's asking, aren't they? You just keep him in the champion chase because obviously he hasn't been up to the 2 mile 4 yet. But I mean, it's there for debate, isn't it? So
it's there for debate. After that, will he stay? That's the thing. I know he made a massive mistake at the last, and he ran on like he was a horse that was really stay, but he went past. I know he went past the Exeter Nuts, and then he got outstayed I know obviously he made a, obviously, again, I'll say it again, he made a bad mistake, and that's after taking a lot out of a horse, but he wouldn't convince me at his stage, to be honest with you. I at the start, a few weeks ago, I thought, yeah, not a bother getting him into it. If it was a piss poor one and Gaelic Warrior wasn't there, yeah, obviously you would think about it. And in a end-to-end gallop, I don't know if it's out because he's very electric and buzzy horse. So his race might be run the first mile of the race, and when the push comes to shove at the end, I think he'll just get outstayed. But I cannot see him beating El Fabiolo any day of the week.
You'd be taking a chance, wouldn't they, to like send him up against like Banbridge and sort of Stage Star and stuff like that. To prove it first time over the trip as well. It's like,
it won't be the race. It won't be the race that you want to do it too.
No.
And look, if you're backing him for a champion chase, you either just have a love for the horse and an affinity for the horse, and you just back him blind, which is grand. But if you're looking at a race in terms of who's the most likeliest winner, and you're backing him, you're looking at the race totally wrong. You have to go back and watch what he's after doing and the performance he's put in this season. Looked electric as first run of the season around Cheltenham, but after that, he got to run the race in that, and it was just like a schooling session. After that, question marks all over the place.
Yeah, I agree. Sean, what do you think as well, guys? In the comments, what do you think of Jonbon this time? Would you step him up or keep him in the champion chase? Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, look, there's a bit of after time in hell now, as in terms of, I sent in the group chat that he was at the boiling over at the start, and I thought all his antics was stopped. Like, Jonbon the first day was very good. This was literally chalk and cheese to what we've seen. Electric the first day, none of this antics. He's then went to Sandown. I didn't think it was obvious that day either, but he was boiled over at the first here now. And I said to the lads after jumping too, I could see an upset here, and I didn't have the nuts to go and lay him, to be honest with you. I just didn't have it, and I should have. Because he was at the throne himself. I think it was at the second. He didn't go on a stride at Beaumont, and then he went and fluffed the third in front of the stands. And the momentum just was not there at all. And I thought the whole thing was at the getting to him. From what I thought at the start of the season, he was at the getting together, maturing. Like, he's just completely gone and thrown that out the window now. It was scruffy. His jumping was horrible. Like, Bowen tried to spot the stride at the fourth last, and he's just gone through the fence. I don't know how he's managed to pick back up and go with this. And my thing after watching that now, after watching that race, I have absolutely no doubts El Fabiolo will beat him in March. Zero doubts about it now, to be quite honest with you. Like, what that is going to take out of him, I think it's so unlike Nicky Henderson thing to get a horse, and I'm surprised he hasn't come out and said 100 things that he's not right, or he might even be looking at Cheltenham. I'm really not surprised he come out and said something like that, because it was an absolute growler he had. He sat there, in fairness to him, he's got back to Litzy or the nuts, and then it just took it all out of him. The wind was taken out of him, and he couldn't get back up the hill, and he was out battled. I'd be very fearful going into Cheltenham, and then you have to think of, like, you're going to question his jumping, which you question about El Fabiolo, and that's the only thing that you can question about El Fabiolo, because you have no doubts that he's a better horse, in my opinion, than him. And with that run going into Cheltenham, oh Jesus, I couldn't be touching Jonbon in a month of Sundays.
Like, you're I see a lot of people saying jockeys to blame and whatnot. I went back and watched this a few times today, and I watched that fence where he made a mistake in particularly, and James asked him it didn't ask him for a long one. It was a normal 1, 2, 3, let's go. It was 1, 2, 3, and he went, oh shit, he just didn't pick up. Yeah. He didn't pick up the slightest. He didn't get in close. It was perfect stride. I counted it as he was going. You could see him in the stride pattern that he was making. It was a 1, a 2, a 3, and off he went. It was a normal jump. 9 times out of 10 he makes it. Yeah, that one time he just did not pick up his feet at all, and you could see it. He just went straight through. It was like a nosedive through it. It wasn't a reach. It wasn't that like that. It was a nosedive through it.
Yeah, that's not jockey's fault, is it? That's Jonbon. Jonbon not being in peak form himself, or again, like, we forget they're animals. Anything could have been out of him. Tiny bit of lethargic. It's simple. That was not James Bowen's fault.
He could have got distracted. Anything would have happened. But from the jockey signal to the horse, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be blaming James Bowen at all there now, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely wasn't the Jonbon that we're used to seeing, but perhaps we'll just see him as well go to the champion chase this year, and then maybe next year Nicky will decide to step him up, because it's not Nicky's sort of way to sort of change plans halfway through the season. He does stick to how he's campaigned them for a reason. It just, if they wanted to go to the Rhino, they'd have had to campaign him a little bit different to this anyway. But okay, we'll move on to the international hurdle, the Grade 2. Now, of course, this was one of the most impressive performances of the weekend. it really gave me some sort of nostalgia. This as well. It really reminded me of like a proper old school, proper mare performance. It just reminded me of Annie Power, the way she handled sort of Cheltenham. Let's go to you, Sean, because me and you are both in the Ashroe Diamond camp. But I mean, Lossie scared the life out of me of what she did at the weekend. What did you think?
Look, Joe, hold my hands up here. I made a ball to this. I took her on, and when Carl Marceau got beaten, I was sort of saying to myself, geez, I've definitely done the right thing here now. And she's just gone and said, nah, you're not getting any of that money. It's getting all cleaned on you. But look, she was deadly. There's no doubting about her at all. She travels like a 2-miler, she jumps like a 2-miler, and she's picked up like a 2-miler. That's my only thing where I honestly I didn't buy into the Imperial Pass, but I'd buy in that Lossiemouth could give Stateman a serious race, and if she was to beat him, then you have to go and take on Constitution Hill in my book. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like they're going to step up to the Mares hurdle. She's bashed Love Envoy there. Well, originally there was a boo-boo on the BHA. I thought she was giving away £2, but in theory she wasn't giving any way away. She was getting £1 off Love Envoy, and she's gone and battered her. Like, she's done this hard on the bridle. Just one thing I will say, I've done the times on it, and Sergino actually is quicker than her. Sergino is just over 5 lengths quicker than her. The both of them ran over 2 miles, same track and distance. So you'd have to be impressed with what he's done. Like, she's done that in the bridle, and Sergino is still quicker from the last all the way up. So I just don't know. I just gonna have this thing in the back of my head about 2.5 miles. She's just she has 2 miles written all over her, and I know they're not going to throw her into the champion hurdle. I don't think it's very unlikely, and they're going to step up to the Mares. And I have no doubt she's going to go to the Mares and look like the winner all over it, because she travels so well, she jumps so well. But in the back of my mind, I'd just be questioning if she does get lit up in Keane, if she gets taken in Paul Townend's hands like she did last year in the Triumph, I'd be worried about her just in them last 3 furlongs coming up that hill. But look, she could bolt up and win by 10 lengths, and I've got it wrong. But Lossiemouth was deadly, and I think she definitely is a future one for going down the champion hurdle route.
It's all right to hold your hands up when you see one as good as that turn up a performance like that,
yeah.
Can't you? But she's definitely ended up in the mares hurdle. Richie said after the race he wants winners. It's not about what I mean. Look, all of these other mares are owned by different owners. Richie is the only one that he's got Lossiemouth and nothing else really in this division. So she's going to the mares hurdle, whether we like it or not. Andrew, what do you think of her performance? Again, obviously hard not to be impressed, but what are your thoughts on how she did it?
She's electric. She's a superstar in the making. Look, we loved her a long time. Geez, what she done on Saturday was a massive step forward to what she was doing on a 4-year-old career. I just love the way that Willie's I said it on Wednesday. I love the way Willie's had to leaving her alone and just leaving her strengthen up throughout the season as it goes on, and just target at the end of the season, because at the end of the day she's a 4-year-old going into her 5-year-old's career this year, and we know the record and whatnot, and the fact that she doesn't have to go down the champion hurdle route, the mayor's program is there for, is a blessing in disguise. I think I personally have zero issues that she will stay. We look at the likes of classy mares like the Annie Powers, the Vroom Vroom Mags. They get 2 miles really well. They had the speed for 2 miles. They get 2.5 miles. Annie Power just failed to stay 3 miles. I don't think there was any problem whatsoever. I think no matter what pace they go, I think she'll be grand with it. I know she was a bit lit up at the start, and Paul did really well to settle her down. Look, I find it very, very hard for anything to beat her in the mares hurdle, and I think they've learned with mares in regards to champion hurdles. I think they've learned with Annie Power that there's no rush. There's no rush for mares with champion hurdle. They went mares hurdle with her, they went stairs hurdle, and then they went to the champion hurdle. I don't think there's any rush whatsoever. Whether she's like, you have people out there taking form literally. Oh, she's only a length and a half off Con Hill if you take Ruban into account. It's totally different race, totally different track and whatnot. I wouldn't send her near Con Hill this year. That's, if she was mine, I'd go mares hurdle. Yeah, we get another year into you, get experience into you. Then we'll take them on next season, not a bother. But all in all, unbelievable performance. And as I put up on Twitter, she's making the retirement of Honeysuckle a lot more easier.
Yeah, she was brilliant, weren't she? She when we needed a good mare to come through and like really stamp her class, we've got her now, haven't we? Lossiemouth is the next one.
I just think when I can see it happening. The 3 Willie Mullins horses come to the last hurdle, and I can just see them all jumping, and all of a sudden, here's a burst of acceleration, and she's gone.
Gone. Yeah, she just seems too fast, doesn't she? Because even when she got beat by Gala, she was still able to come back after and it was a massive mistake. It would have knocked many of the juveniles literally straight out of their rib, and they'd have been out the back of the telly. But she was a long way back and found
even in the Triumph, she tanked her way the whole. Probably did way
too much down the hill.
And down the hill, and we were sitting in the pub thinking, "Oh my God, this thing is pulling our chance away. She's not going to win." She got to the front, she jumped the last, and she just stayed on up the hill. I don't think there'll be any trouble whatsoever with her staying. And look, I think she's nearly a nail-on banker in my eyes for the Tuesday.
Yeah, very, very powerful looking mare as well. I'm in the same camp. I'm in the same camp as you, Sean. I put Ashroe. This age and physicality being a massive thing for me, but like Andrew's just said at the same time, Lossie just looks different class. She really does sort of remind you of some of the really good mares that we've had. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, obviously, she can go on and do good things at Cheltenham. Right, let's jump over to Doncaster quickly on that basis and just have a look at Ashroe Diamond and Gala Marceau, because obviously they're both targeted at the same race as Lossie at the Cheltenham Festival. And Ashroe managed to put Gala to bed pretty easily. I know she had fitness on her side, but she showed some pretty decent gears considering we've seen her over 2.5 miles already. Sean, again, what do you think of this lady?
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had Tom turn up tonight. He's a non-runner, possibly because Ashroe Diamond won. To be honest with you, he's not showed up because
what was the thing, Sean? He has, what's it called? Dry socket,
whatever the fuck that.
Yeah.
Essentially, Ashroe Diamond has won, and he just doesn't want to turn up because she's shy, apparently, according to Tom. But look, she was dynamite. As I touched on before, I thought she was the horse going in here. As Joe said, I thought the older horse, and I was just wary of the juveniles, and that's why I sided with her in the mare's hurdle. But look, she showed all that class here again. Gone in against her own division and shown what she's made of, not taking on geldings. It just goes to show like the level that they have to be at to beat the geldings and them sort of levels. I know she was taking on Marine Nationale and Festival Vega, but it just shows you the difference gap between those and what the mares races are. But in terms of this race, he went there with a good clip. You had the leader in this, Stainsbury girl, took them along. She sat right on her, and I tell you, I was happy from the get-go. She was popped out, sat in second, and she absolutely pinged every hurdle. I thought she danced over them all. That's the one thing I took away from. I don't think I've ever seen her jump as good as that in my life. They've gone a decent clip, as I said, on the way around, and then they've gone and darted over the last three. And the money came for Gala Marceau, and she drifted out to a lovely price. And she was a bit of 5-2 there before the off, and she came back into 7-4. They smashed Gala Marceau, so I wouldn't be worried that okay, she might improve for the first run, but I'd say she was fairly ready looking at Lossiemouth, at the two of them going over there, and she's made mincemeat of her, to be honest. They've gone down. Danny Mullins has tried to tail in Ashroe Diamond, and he's realised going to the last, shit, I'm not going to pick her up, and she's gone and sprinted away, and I was really impressed. I thought over 2 miles, I wasn't sure if she had that turn of foot that she showed to sprint over them last three and pulling away again at the end, staying all day, and she held all the way to the line. I thought it was a very good run. There was a night-catching run there now for me, under control. Be interested to see what mark she gets. She could potentially be what's the one on the last day? The county. She could be a county horse for me. She's shown there 2 miles. It could be Coral. It could be Coral. It could be a handicap route on St. Joe. She could possibly. She has form over further, but I just thought that was a nice run after the blowout she had at Newbury. She came back there and split 2 very good mares. So I'll be interested to see what mark she gets going forward for a handicap. But Ashroe Diamond was dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I shook my head there is because I meant the county, but I said the Coral. So stayed on nicely. And the only bad run under control has had was when she was chucked into the mare's novice. No.
Yeah, I think it just came a bit too early in her career, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. She'd only had 2 runs quite in quick succession. Learned plenty from that, and she looks like she's trained on nicely. Andrew, what did you make of Ashroe and Gala? Did they finish in the right order?
Yeah, they did. I thought this race was over after about 4 hurdles. Ashroe was travelling really well within herself, jumping really well, and Gala Marceau was doing what Gala Marceau does best and just goes off like nutcase and can't settle and whatsoever. That's one horse I will find very hard that will stay at the mare's trip. She will travel there on a bridle, and she jumped the last, and I think she'd be the one that will go, oh, fuck the hill. But going on the weekend, Ashroe Diamond, I couldn't believe she went off 7-4. I thought she'd go off the price at Gala Marceau went off. I had a few pennies on her, and I duly collected, which was fantastic. And
It only took me 6 months of propaganda to get it into the lads.
no. Sean, a horse has their place in every race, and if in a race he has a chance to win, I will look at it. And this she had it. But I would Lossiemouth. I find it hard to see Ashroe Diamond having the speed to beat her.
That was the gut wrenching thing. Like, you had her going and doing this, and I'm getting giddy in the group chat, right? I'm giving it the full shillelagh to Tom, giving it a full lot to him. I'm getting excited. Then you have fucking Lossiemouth comes out 40 minutes later and playing Thursday.
You should see it. Lossiemouth crossed the line, and you should see our group chat. Lossie Zoom, Garla who, Ashroe who.
Oh no.
But no, look, this race in particular, look, she stuck out like a sore thumb. She was travelling really well the whole way throughout the race. She was going easy everywhere. I think Patrick gave her lovely ride. She won as any amount as she can. Under Control, who I said on Wednesday needs to get her life back together and not even a form, she has. And Sean made a perfect point there, which I was actually contemplating of looking into what handicap she might get into, which is a great shout. That was more like her best. She, as Sean alluded to there, she has a tendency to throw in a wobbler. Like she was beating 179 lengths at Newbury back in December, and she was battered in the Mayor's Novice as well. I don't know whether it's big fields gets her or what it is. I don't know. But if she gets into something like that, she's away out trouble, and they ride her a bit handy. She might be one that's very interesting for a handicap down the line. But yeah, Ashroe Diamond, I think she's the second best mare that Willie has for the mares, because I cannot see Gallimorso staying if she doesn't start being very tractable in her races.
It's nice to see that they've all put up decent enough performances, doesn't it, to like shape the market for us a bit of confirmation, I guess, at this time. I'd like to see Gallimorso jump a fence. I think she'd be a cracking chaser. I do. I mean, when she won over O'Toy, I know they've got sort of like bushy hurdles, if you like, but man, she jumps them like fences. I think she'd be a right sort in the mare's chase. Perhaps I would maybe step her up next year. I don't know.
I'd like to see her not being a fucking Fruit Loop.
Yeah, maybe she'd come on a bit more for a first run. Perhaps.
Yeah, she could respect the fence settle down. Yeah,
you'd want
She's
to
very
see
buzzy, very buzzy.
Yeah.
She doesn't fill you with much confidence the way she goes round. At
2 2 miles, she might get away with it. But 2 mile 4, whatever the mares is, 2 mile 4.5. You'd be very oh shit.
I mean, she's got to raise her game now, not only to what we thought Lossie was, but to the new heights that obviously she set like this weekend as well.
She has to improve nearly a stone and a half, I'd say, to get within 2-3 lengths of her, because she's had her hours handed to her convincingly all last season, bar at the DRF where Lossiemouth was trapped in a pocket for about 4 furlongs. Bar that, she has her hours well and truly handed to her.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, beaten by Ashroe, and we think Lossie's got the better of Ashroe too. Big upward curve, upward task now, isn't it?
Unless now that just came into my head there, that now that she's been beaten by Lossie last season, now Ashroe, she won, they might consider for her handicap now.
Yeah, I don't know what mark she has.
Not sure. I don't know
if Willie has done that with decent horses, to be honest, and definitely in a fucking county where they go off a crazy gallop.
I think
that's a lie.
I think she's
146 right now. She's not going to get put up Anton for that. In fact, she might get dropped a pound or two.
146. Interesting.
Time will tell.
Right, let's go on to the Cleve hurdle then. What we were calling the veteran stayers hurdle. Grade 2. This was actually a really good race. One of the best rides for me of the day by Harry Cobden to win on Noble Yeats here. He jumped the last with Paisley Park and managed to out-battle him as well. Got into top gear before Paisley Park did. Really, really game performances. I think Harry Cobden's ride here is massively underrated. What did you think of this one, Andrew? I am getting a little bit bored of these races, but I did enjoy what Harry Cobden did on Noble Yeats. That was impressive to me.
Look, Sean held his hands up for Lossie now. My turn. I got this wrong. By a head, but I still got it wrong.
We did, of course.
Look, it was a strange goddamn race, because it was jumping the last, there was like 4 that could win. Then they would drop back. Another 2 came up. Then they dropped back. And then the 2 that finished came flying forward again. Look, I don't know if I'd have anything for a stairs hurdle. I think everything will happen too fast for Noble Yeats, which I thought would happen in here. But obviously, this is run at a slower pace. And obviously, the legs are telling for the old boys. But look, Harry Cobden gave him a really nice ride. He let him find his feet between the second last and came there with a run on the outside. Look, Paisley Park was coming at the end, but I watched it when they hit the line and when they kept going. Paisley Park, once he got to his kind of head, he wasn't going past him. Noble Yeats was still picking up. Yeah. He wasn't going to go past him. If he got up next to him a half furlong out, I think the results would have still been the same. So, look, you got to feel for Paisley Park, though. 3 times this season, 12-year-old getting beat at, head, or neck, something like that in 3 graded races. Look, he's an absolute going to go down as a legend in the sport. But it's very, very hard to see these competing in a stairs. If they go off like the clappers in the stairs and something just goes off and goes, I'm out of here, good luck to you, then that brings Noble Yeats' stamina really into it. But you have the likes of the Irish Point in there. If he gets a run of the race and he truly stays the proper 3 miles, he's one that's going to have the boot to beat everything in it. But look, Sean was right, I was wrong. I've no problem saying it. And yeah, good race. One to watch back 2 or 3 times to see what was going on in it. But I'm contradicting myself now. Bar Noble Yeats, I can't see any of them contesting a stairs hurdle.
I think the best we could see is maybe Paisley running onto a place, and we all say, well done, like, you know, another good season as an old lad. But like you said, as far as winning concerns, it looks like we're a little bit behind the likes of Irish Point and Tia Hooper. Even with Crambo, I know he's improving, but he's got to improve a fair whack again if he's going to beat either.
Yeah, there's well, isn't he? What I put, like, you'd be disappointed if they were there fighting out the finish with as you said, with the likes of the Irish Point, Crambo, like. Who'd you have? Yeah, you look at it, there's not much there. You've Tia Hooper, Irish Point, Crambo. In Perry Pass, maybe if he gets beat again at next week, you've nobody. Sir Gerhard has to prove he stays. We forgot to talk about the big, beautiful chest. Looking bastard.
Yeah, of course.
Just looking at him there. What a fucking day Gorman Park was. I don't care what happened after that. And myself and Sean seen it. Some lads might know him. Second, he went straight down to the ditch and just seen this big. He is fucking massive. Yeah, he's huge.
You sent me a picture.
But yeah, sorry, that's me just glorifying Monkfish there. But when you go into it, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 2 or 3 in there I'd have ahead of him.
Where's Monkfish finishing then, Andrew, in the stairs? Is he going there? Do we think? Believe
if he goes there, I can't really give an opinion on Monkfish. If he goes there, I say, yeah, he has a great chance. Of course he does. If he goes there, I might back him. If he goes there and someone says, you can't be backing him, shut the fuck up. Of course I'm backing him. He's Monkfish. I don't care if he's 100 to 1, 600 to 1. If he's 40 running, I'm still backing him. I'll back him blind. I don't care. I have no problem saying it. Will he win? Probably not, no.
But is he getting some money of yours? Probably so. Like,
probably so.
Definitely.
You're allowed these once in a while. We're allowed these once in a while. All right, sure.
It's like Bob Ollinger next week. Is he going to be state man? Fuck no. But do I have a little hope that he will? Fuck yes. Am I backing him? Oh hell yes.
This is the beauty of it, man. This is the beauty of it. Sean,
do any of them have a chance of winning? Probably not.
No,
I don't care.
You're happy to part with your cash like with that one. Why not? All right.
I can take the bet slip at home then and just leave it there and go. Love them little bastards.
You got to be a fanboy of some of them, aren't you? Like, you know what I mean?
Fanboy all over I am.
Sean, what did you think of the race? It was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, look, Joe, the day was going good with selections, but then I realised me Nap and Next Best were running within 45 minutes of each other, and I was like, geez, I didn't think this through now, but look, it wasn't good on the old ticker, I can tell you that, because as soon as Noble Yeats hit the front there, he says, fuck this, I'm not doing as much as I have to. I'm just going to get over this line in front. But look, he was a massive price early on the week. Well, massive compared to where he went off. He was 12 and 10 to 1 when we done the show, and I thought it was an Emma Mullins had spotted something here, gotten ready at Limerick, and he was going to go here sharpened up, and he's been thumped off the boards. Like I think he went off favourite 3-1, did he? He was either favourite, joint favourite with Paisley Park in the end. But he's kicked him out early here and he set up on the pace. Cobden was keen to hold him wide starting off. I don't know if he just wanted to get him up and just let him settle in and find out where he settled. But they're in a line nearly racing around here for most of the race. And the leader fell back a little bit. Dashel Drasher fell back at a weird sort of stage where you wouldn't have thought Dashel Drasher would be getting tapped for pace and Noble Yeats would be sitting up outside of him on the bridle. I didn't think that at all. But then, as I said, he's hit this little bit of a flat spot coming off the back of the hill, and I says to myself, right, he's a couple of lengths here. I was a bit doubtful that he was going to get it. But as I said, I thought he was going to find a lot. And about 50 yards before the last hurdle, I seen the jets kicking in. And I said to myself, I have a right hope here. And I wasn't sure whether Harry Cobden was going to give up a little bit too early. You know, when Harry Cobden, he's not one that I'd look at and say, right, he's going to get stuck into this now. And I didn't know whether he might. I didn't know whether he might.
The body language was kind of. I seen it. I know what you're on about. Between the second, it was kind of. Will I look after him? Kind of flicking at the reins. At him.
Yeah, it's like, come on, please, because he's gonna find if you get stuck into him, and he does get it, and eventually coming about 50 yards before the last, he's gonna jump and he's held on. And as Andrew touched on, I think he was never gonna get beaten. To be honest with you, Paisley Park's got to him, and he's never went by. Even at 50, 100 yards after the line, he's gone on again. And look, it was great. Willie Mullins spotted an opportunity. As I said, he's coming down the Gold Cup. He had a chase mark of 1:66. Coming out the back of a run, the Grand National goes to Limerick over 2.5 miles, sharpened up, and has now won a Cleve hurdle. Getting £6 there now. Won't be getting that come March. Now he could be sharper, and a quicker run race might suit. But I just thought the conditions of that race, if he was going to win, it was going to be then. So that would have to be taken into consideration going into March. He's not getting the weight off the others, and look. He's on the old track again. He's going to keep finding in a race. They'd have to go off with the clappers and fall back into his hands. But he's done the job on Saturday, thank God.
Yeah, I thought it was a masterclass from Cobden, this one. I was banging on about it to my group as well. I really thought it was an underestimated ride, considering obviously we'd seen Gino, Lossiemouth. I thought this was a bit sort of covered over by the shadow of some really good performances. But the way he kept him stuck to the task, and like I said, he jumped the last and hit the other side at the same time as Paisley, and he was quick into gear. I think that was all Harry Cobden. Of course, the horse, but I mean, I think a few other jockeys may not have got him up there and held him on, especially when Paisley Park was getting him down. But like Andrew said as well, I watched it back as well, and Paisley Park didn't pass Noble Yeats, did he? Not even like 4 or 5 strides. So, and then obviously the camera.
He's cute now. He's 9 years of age. He knows he only has to do what he has to do to get there.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, look, it's another nice win for his resume as well. All roads lead to the National. I know he's going to go to the State of Soda, but I don't give him too much of a chance there. Is Fernie out next week? Yes, he's running in the Dublin Chase.
Oh, Jesus.
There's Dave O'Keefe's money gone out the window again. God bless him.
I think he's about 20-1 for the Dublin Chase against Al Fabiola. I saw earlier. So yeah, I think
you're right, Phil. Back him, Dave.
Yeah, there's another one you're going to have a couple of quid on that, Andrew. You can't open it.
No, God, no, not me. Jesus Christ, no, you're all right. I'll keep my money for that. I'll waste it on Bob. You're okay. I'm not going to waste it on him.
Is this Dave's horse, is it?
Oh, this is Dave's Cliff horse.
Got you. So Dave might have a couple of quid on Fernie then, just out of having a Cliff one too. Okay, let's move on to the final race at Cheltenham. We had the 2.5 mile novice hurdle won by Gidley Park. Now, he's a proper unit, this one, but he only won by half a length. And I've got to be honest, lads, I know a lot of people are talking this performance up. Not for me. I was pretty disappointed by him. I know he's obviously the best horse, but not a performance for me, lads. Probably a horse for next year. He's not winning anything at Cheltenham. Andrew, what do you think?
I was not getting giggly with it at all. This was... yeah, he just looked really slow. There was. I don't know how people are getting carried away with this. I really liked the horse going into the race. And Sean's State Man dance, so I say the State Man dance was getting a little State Man jig because I say he was sweating buckets. Because, like, Lucky Plays came there.
There was an inhale, I can tell you that, at one point.
Oh, this little Greyo came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, God, he's going to get beat. Yeah, he's... the cliche, and I don't like the cliche, whatever he does over hurdle is going to be a bonus because this thing is a big tank of a 3 mile chaser in the making. Does not have the gears for a Ballymore, will not be winning a Ballymore in the slightest. There's so much about him that just, I'm not going to say he looks He's not, yeah, this is the right word. He's built like a demon. He's just a big bastard. He's a big tank built for a fence. Demon got beat in what would be called a Neptune back in the day. It's a Ballymore. I don't even know if it's not even called Ballymore anymore, is it?
The
What's it
You
called?
can call it whatever you want.
In the finishing line novices hurdle at Cheltenham. But I can't see him winning anything at Cheltenham. I think next year he's one to look forward to over a chase. The whole race of itself, it's very hard to take out of it. Johnny Who, as we thought might happen, and probably did happen, feeling the effects of Jesus Christ, I can never remember the name of this race. Someone named
Shallow
Hurdle. Feeling the effects of the Shallow Hurdle. Will not be going near anything that comes out of that. That includes the winner. Captain Teague. He ran a grand race, but then when the push came to shove, you could see he wasn't having any of it, and he's definitely after leaving a mark on him. So anything that's in that race, I will be steering well clear of for the coming season. Next year, I might have a look at it again, but yeah, the rest of much of a muchness. Don't know what to make of that lucky place. Isaac de Zobo back at Chepstow next December, maybe. It'll probably Antrim Coast. I couldn't believe he went off 4-1. I wouldn't have him 4-1. I wouldn't have him about 10-14 to 1 shot. I don't know how we went off that price. And yeah, good performance, not good performance, okay performance. Won't be winning at Cheltenham. Good chase in the making.
Yeah, literally just echo what you say. He's almost too big for his own good at the moment. Give him a season of fitness. Get him over a couple of fences as a novice, step him up in trip. He could be a proper horse. I think he's obviously a walk in the park as well, being Gidley Park. I imagine he's by walking the park.
Yeah, you can see him like next season. He was just soaring over fences and the big massive stride just taking through a race and everything will come easily to him.
He reminds me of Henry Daly's horse, Hillcrest. Do you know him? He was massive horse, but almost too big for his own good, that he struggled over fences when they got a pace. But I know, obviously, we're not going to see the best of him again, but he's another. I think Gidley Park over a fence, maybe like he's got to have the trip. We know that, but next year over a fence, he could be very, very good. But you'd want to see a bit of improvement. I won't go near him for Cheltenham at all, as well. Sean, what did you think of him then? You were, I mean, obviously you collected and he won, which is happy days. But like Andrew said, you must have been sweating a little bit on the final furlong there.
Well, as I touched on, Joe, the next best and the Nap was within 40 minutes of each other. The next best wins by a head. This lad looks like Jesus, I've done me dough. And he stuck back and I've collected, and that's about the best I got out of this, to be honest, because I was getting nervy at one point, I can tell you. The Stateman dance was done, and I didn't know whether the second part where you go back and take your money back off the bookie was going to happen. But look, in terms of the race, I have a little bit of a different view to use. How the race panned out, Isaac de Zobo went on and made a mess of the first, and it was disaster from Gidley Park. He's ended up fouling his way at the front. The lead is gone, and he's getting a little bit keen in Johnny's hands. He has then Isaac de Zobo beside him fighting for the lead. And I don't think they've gone a great gallop, to be quite honest with you. I didn't think they went too quick here. He just couldn't settle him. Even though he was pulling at the head, they weren't going too fast, but he just wasn't settling and getting into a rhythm. He's kicked one out of the ground down the back, and I think this has turned into quite a bit of a sprint, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't be ruling him out and saying he's a slow beast. Now, in terms of Ballymore, look, I wouldn't have him winning that now. But I just don't know if he's a slow horse. Johnny Who and all those were travelling at the second last, and then the sprint is being put on. Johnny Book didn't see that lucky place. That lucky place came up around the outside, and he definitely caught him on the blind side because he didn't expect him to be coming right up there beside him. But he never panicked. He let him go through the motions, and he's gone down and winged the last for him. And I thought he might go away and win a little bit more, but perhaps the antics of not settling down has paid here, and he didn't quite pull away as I expected going up the hill. But Johnny Book didn't panic when this thing came up around his outside. He's let his horse down, he's let him go through the gears, and he's pinged the last and won for him. I'd say, look, I think it's become a bit of a sprint from the back of the bend, and Johnny Who, the likes of them slow horses are being burnt off here, and he's gone all the way to the line. look, big horse chasing is definitely going to be it. But I don't think they'll step him up to 3 miles yet, just because he hasn't settled down. Maybe fences will settle him down more respect for a fence. But in a bigger field, he might just settle better in a 2.5 mile race. Where in a 3 mile race, if they didn't go off at a clip, I'd be worried he's not going to settle at all, and they could ruin him. So I'd say he probably will go to Ballymore, to be honest with you. But I just wouldn't give him. I don't think he'd beat the likes of Ballybourne, but I still think he'd stand out the best of the British.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Shaw. I think it's probably one where we just got to agree to disagree, because I don't totally see it like that, because like the problem I got with the form this time is the fact that Johnny Who finally had a bit of nice good to soft. It was like perfect racing ground, and he still didn't really find too much. I was sort of expecting that he'd have a few more gears, maybe on a bit of a better surface. So perhaps that is why I'm knocking the performance at Gidley Park at the same time, because I thought Johnny Who would have had a stronger finish, when in fact he
I just think they've burned them. I genuinely think he's a 3 mile stayer, and I think they've just burned him off the back of that bend. They've went a good clip. Like you seen, was it James Bowen on the Nicky Henderson horse? Like he made a swoop and move along the outside there, and there's no way you could have done that if they were going a stronger gallop. You just wouldn't have made it that quick up along the outside. And he's gone and said, "I'm here now," and then Johnny Book is being blindsided and pulled him out. And I thought it was a bit of a dash.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that makes sense too. Like you said, if he's managed to get like a quick sweep on the outside, I don't know, just weren't totally taken by it. But again, plenty of time still.
Yeah, look, I wasn't blown away. I thought he was going to be better than that, to be honest with you. I wasn't blown away. Look, I thought we'd go on well. I thought he'd go off odds on and dominate, but it wasn't quite that. And maybe it was the antics in the race and not being able to settle, and no gallop hasn't helped him. And perhaps in a bigger field, a stronger gallop, we see the better of him again.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay then, Sean. Right, we've got one race left to do from those. We may have a look at a couple today if we want to. We have got the 1:30 at Doncaster. We've got the 2 mile Supreme Trial, the Grade 2, where, of course, Jeriko de Repene did get the job done from Lump Sum and Fiercely Proud. I've got quite a strong opinion on this, actually, because I quite liked his performance, Andrew. I'll give you my opinion, then you can tell me what you thought on that. He hung left quite a long way at the straight, whilst looking the opposite way, whilst being keen. And it was his first run on a fast surface. They went a slow pace, but he still managed to get the job done, beating horses rated 128 and 127. I think that from what we saw there, he probably hasn't learned enough in the 3 runs that he's had so far, in comparison to your likes of your Shishkins and like your Altiors. They looked a bit like ahead of schedule as such at this point. They knew they were there to race, but Jeriko just seems to be looking all over the shop, not focusing on the task. So in that sense, I think Jeriko is probably open to £10 improvement very, very easily. But at the same time, you'd want to see his maturity a bit sooner, Andrew, wouldn't you?
Yeah, what I'll say now, before I say what I have to say about the horse, what he done on Saturday, he learned more from that than he has in his whole career. The horse is fucking clueless. He's thick as 2 planks. He doesn't know what to do still. As you said, he's hanging left, looking right. He's very slow to pick up, and I think that was he went for him, and there was no immediate response. And for a furlong, there was still no immediate response. But he got the job done. That is not winning the Supreme Novice Hurdle. You have to be on it. Like, this is nothing against English horses, whatever the fuck people want to say now in the comments. If you take your Nicky Henderson glasses off, your Jeriko de Repene, I've backed him at 20-1 anti-post slips, your I love JP McManus horses glasses, take them all off and go watch the race. Forget everything you know about the horse. Forget the hype behind him. You be honest with yourself and you stick that thing beating them like he's in there. Are you going to say this thing is a Supreme Novice Hurdle winner? No, you're not. Not in a million years. He's drifted like a barge. The second he crossed the line, he was gone out to 7-1 to 9-1 in places. That's a fair enough price from now. On what he's done, he has no right to win the Supreme. He's not showing the credentials, the speed, the acceleration, the instant pickup. The jumping is grand. And people say, oh, Michael Power's jumping is not good. It's not good, but that's an area he can improve on. But he's shown that once you get into him, he lengthens and he's gone. Jeriko de Repene has shown in my opinion, his last race, he was getting squeezed between the second last and last the whole way. There was a good squeeze on him, and he still wasn't going really forward. He was staying with the horse next to him. Then he jumped. He gave him a squeeze again, and it was gradual going. It's not the rapid. It's not the race finishing burst of speed and the staying on. Where Mystical Power has that and stays on. I think Mystical Power is the JP number 1. This fella might be in the number 2 come the 3 come the Dublin Race Vessel. Name of the horse that we had it 2 seconds ago.
No flies on him.
No flies on him could be the second one.
Yeah, the O'Grady one, yeah. He
might be ahead of him. I can't see this fella win Supreme Novice Hurdle again at all. There wasn't enough. This is his 3rd one. I given him 3 runs to show me what he can do, and he hasn't done anything for me to win a Supreme.
You'd wanted to see like maturity, wouldn't you? Like you said, he did it. He won the race when he was told what to do, but he really had to. Jamie had to say, look, you're here to win this race. You're not here to be looking at this horse on your right whilst you're trying to take me to your left hand side.
And you could literally say the same thing about the second, about Lump Sum. He jumped the hurdle, hung into his left, bumped into him, hung back out, and then straightened up and went again. What would happen if he jumped that straight, had a straight line that he could mature himself to run in a straight line? What's to say he wasn't going? He could have beaten him. He showed the tendencies, the maturity as well. There's an immature bunch right there, and I cannot have him for a month of Sundays for a Supreme. It's the horse that was Thor Fiercely Proud. Look, yeah, he has a decent backline of form in bumpers, but then when he stepped up into Cheltenham and Aintree, he was battered both times. And look, to me, the form that he's showing, it's not even the horses that he's beating, is what he's doing to beat him. No, not for me in the slightest.
He has to be more switched on. You can't, 3 runs to still be doing so much wrong is unusual for us to see with proper top novices. Like even with Mystical Power, like you said there, much more professional with so much less experience, attacking the job, quite happy to attack the hurdles, there in strong pace at the finish. Jeriko just thinks he's on a day out, like he's on the gallops or something.
And I think a lot can be told by Mark Walsh's body language and interview after the race. Yeah, he's a grand horse. He's 6. He'll improve for this and whatnot. This was not an interview we got off. Jesus Christ, this thing is unreal. This is going to have a right chance at Cheltenham. The jockey himself in the interview didn't fill you with any confidence because he probably knows I sat on something that's at least a stone better than this.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably left us with more questions than answers then possibly with Jeriko. I think this was the performance this was the time we were expecting to see the performance that really said, cool, we have got our favourite here for the Supreme. We know what we're dealing with. Turns out we're not so sure. Sean, what do you think of Jeriko?
Yeah, look, I think there's something that you just need to take into consideration here now, and it was brought to me like Nicky Henderson is currently going on a 9% strike rate. He's 4 from 43. That stable is right. Everyone's giving out about Constitution Hill scoping badly. I can fully understand why Constitution Hill hasn't run now. I can tell you that. I don't know what's happened, whether they've got. Yeah. Look, at the time, it did look like he was at the finding a perfect excuse to get him out of the race. But Nicky Henderson is down to a 9% strike rate. The horses are not firing at all. I think he's had 5 or 6 odds-on shots beaten in the last 2 weeks. I don't know whether they got the flu jab or something's just gone wrong in the yard at the moment. And maybe it's perhaps why these horses are underperforming and not seeing what you've seen. But look, Jerry got a rep and the drift told all. That's what I'm talking about, the strike rate. The drift has told you all that they've gotten a little bit windy. What did he go from? 2 to 5, 1 to 2, out to 4 to 6, just before the off. So they were obviously windy about it too. He's thrown himself at a couple of hurdles, and I'd be worried about that in a Supreme. You don't have time to think in a Supreme. You go down to the force and you probably jump a blind. I'd be worried about this lad now having to jump out of dark and find his feet in the Supreme because you don't really get time to do it. You go down, you jump the first, then you rattle down, you jump the second. If he's made a nuts at 1 or 2, if the first or second there, you're on the back foot straight away. And what we've seen, you need a monster to win to do that. Like Shishkin made a bad mistake and still managed to win. But look at the level he was at. That's the sort of horse you need. And I don't have Jeriko the rep and at that level at the moment. Look, he's getting told. I don't think he's slow, but I don't think he's that good either, to be honest with you. He wouldn't. I think the drift is correct. You'd have to take him off the top of the Supreme market now, to be quite honest with you. Like, you have Mystical Power, you have a couple of other, like Far and Glory could have potentially bolted up at Aintree, and then you have our DRF 2 mile trial next week, where possibly you're going to have Ballybourne, who's still him and all, will they go Supreme or Ballymore? So I think it's right that he's come out in price. I just think he does too much wrong. And the jumping was a big worry for me, and the hanging, he still looks a bit raw. And the hype, I feel like the hype is overdone what this horse is going to be, and I'd be a little bit worried. But look, you have the opposite side of saying the Nicky Henderson yard aren't doing well at the moment, and he still managed to pull out and win. So it's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's
but even on that side of it, I know you're making a valid point there, Sean, with the stable form. Even when the stable was in form, he still wasn't impressive.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to reach that height now that people thought, to be honest.
Like, he's as big as 9. You can get 9-1 with Bet MGM.
Yeah, look, I think that's right, but isn't it? To be honest, if he take all the glasses off and opinions out of mind, if you look at that, I'd say he's bang right and could be a little bit bigger.
He looks like he might just end up. I don't know, because that's a bad comparison. You can't. But he looks.
Say it.
He looks like Bouverdere, but people are going to knock me now because he, of course, went on to win champion hurdles. But he was a horse that did progress.
What are you getting at here?
My point is that he may not have enough time this season to get to his peak level from what we've seen. He looks like he's just way behind schedule, effectively. But the vibes,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if the hype is taken over, but Joe, I think
don't know
that's
if he's
where,
just if that's just him.
Yeah, I don't know if the talk is making you think that there's plenty more to come, but what we're actually seeing on the track isn't backing up the talk.
Do you know what it's like? It's something like Facile Vega.
Yay! Look at him.
Afternoon, Shawnee.
Bring it on.
No comment.
Anyway, so that wraps it up.
Could you imagine if this thing wins next week? You will be fucking. You will be unbearable.
That Clayton be getting turned upside down. I can tell you that.
The teetotaler will be going into the fucking room totaler. Everything is getting upended.
We had a couple of decent races today. I'm just going to chuck a couple of names at you. Of course, Dysart Enos won at 1-9. She avoids going to the Mayor's Novice without a penalty. She did what was entitled to do. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it's clever what they've done. She's won a nothing race and she's done it on the bridle. Paddy Brennan was more crack watching the race than anything else. He's looking around for oppositions and he's looking, Paddy, you're on Blading Pegasus in this race. There's nothing going to come to you at the last. Like, just go and send her on. I don't know why you're looking to try and hold this thing on the bridle with something. And Embassy Gardens, look, he's shocked me now a little bit. I thought he was. Look, maybe he just didn't pay respect to hurdles last year and raced wrongly, but he's loved fences and he's attacking these now. He has to have one more run to go to National Hunt Chase. He's only had 2 now. I think I'm full sure you need to have 3. So I don't know if the RSA. Am I right in saying that?
He's qualified. He needed one more run, and so does Nick Rocket. I did see it on Racing TV, and I can't remember.
Oh, did he? Okay. I thought you needed 3. It's just because he's won as beginners the first time and now won a graded race. That could qualify him.
Now, I could be totally wrong here, so I don't know. I think you need to win and be placed or placed twice. Something weird like that.
That's it.
So perhaps the wins have done the job, so he can go straight now.
Placed over 3 miles or something like that, you have to be, or something weird like that. I don't know exactly what it is. Somebody might know in the comments.
He was very, very good today. Yeah, Nick Rocker has to have another. But I thought Embassy Garden was very, very good today. He's put away Sandok again and won quite easy in the end. I thought he was good.
Yes. I'll give shout out to Scotty Redder here because he put us onto Embassy Gardens a while ago, and I just haven't believed it, to be honest. But that was mustard today. Like Andrew, we've had Dysart Enos, we've had Embassy Gardens, Zarek the Brave. Anything to say on these 3? Did anything catch your attention as such?
As Sean said there, Paddy Brennan caught me attention. Jesus Christ Almighty! My massive worry about Dysart Enos is Paddy Brennan on.
Oh no!
On her. Massive worry. Look, let's be honest. Paddy is not riding the way he used to ride. His riding style is gone from an unbelievable Gold Cup winning jockey to I've just got legged up on a horse. What the fuck do I do? His finishing motion is weird as fuck. He's like Superman on the thing. He's so stretched out, it's not even funny. The balance would worry me. I know he never looks like he's going to fall off, but Jesus Christ, if a horse jinxing the way he's balanced when he's riding out a finish, you're going out the side door, lad. But look, yeah, they're doing a lovely thing with Dysart Enos getting her for the Mayor's Hurdle without a penalty. She should be getting weight off. And Better Days Ahead and a few others. Jade Grucci. That now. Speaking of the devil. That was impressive.
That
was like, oh, hello. Oh,
Yeah.
you've got really good, really fast.
She's one of my better bets, to be honest, at the moment. I got her at a nice big price, to be fair. So I hope that continues. Like,
yeah, that was mighty impressive. I really like what I saw there. Yeah, she's definitely going. What price is she? Hold up now before I start trying to.
She's 9-2 now, I think. Or is she
She
even
92?
shorter? Now? She's even shorter, actually. She's what,
Mayor's
maybe?
Novice. She is currently
Threes?
Yeah, you got it.
She's favourite.
Yeah, I think she's second favourite.
There you go.
She's favourite, joint favourite in places, second favourite in other places. Yeah, I'd like her now. I was really impressed with that. Yeah, she's wearing the right colour, so I'm sold already.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to stay too much longer, but there's just two I thought I forgot to mention. Two bumpers. There was one at Gowran. That's Samir for Joseph O'Brien, taking off the flat. Bought for big money now. I'd say he got injured. I was slow to come to hand. He was wicked. I really like him. He's a young 4-year-old. Give them plenty of time. I wouldn't be keen to be throwing him into anything like a Cheltenham. But by God, Gleeson was riding this lad and he got a bit of a shock when one came up on his outside. I think he had the inside covered and he's had to go and press this lad's button, and Jesus, he's handed him now and he's given, and he's gone all the way to the line, finding all the way. I thought he was very nice. A big money boy for Rob Core coming out the flat. And then the one today, Yasmin.
Sorry, I'm just a touch on that. I was up there and going watching that, and he, for all defense purpose, when he was turning in, he was looked like this thing was going to get beat, and all of a sudden, a space of half a furlong, there was upsides to 10 lengths like that. It was rapid.
I love responsive bumper horses, though. Like,
it was quick stuff, and he's 4 miles on Gowran on that deep ground. Jeez, I thought he was very good. But then there was one today, that Yasmin the Fox. Look, he's put in a good performance now. And Paddy Mullins, I like when he's done this, because this tells me now that he's definitely a Cheltenham horse. Paddy Mullins hasn't just gone down here on the bridle now. He's gone and asked this lad, right, what's under the bonnet? He's asked him and he was clear, and he's gone and won by 15 going all the way to the line. So in a wide open bumper division, he's definitely throwing his hat in there now. Of course, he's only had one run going, but he seemed quite confident that he got enough experience into him today, and he was not going to blow up at a Cheltenham Festival. But I like the way he's asked him to go and lengthen. He's had a race and he could be one to try a hat in.
Proper horse. This is the first performance, bar Yalon Dudery, who I like just because he looks rapid as he moves. This is the first performance out of the bumper horse where I've gone, damn, I need to get this lad in my book. Honestly, he was mustard. Like, the only question with him running at was it Nace today? It was Nace, wasn't it? Yeah, Nace. Yeah. Was that Mullins is probably going to have some other bumper horses come out when we're at the DRF next week, right? Would he have not? Maybe probably have sent his better ones over to DRF.
I'd say he could have been a classic, was a bit slower to come to hand, and you wouldn't want to be throwing him into a grade 2 first time out. And look, you're looking at the bumper next week, and the market is gone now, but like, you have 2 horses that don't qualify to run in the champion bumper at the top of the market, in the Dream to Share and Redemption Day. So it'll be interesting. That he could quite well be up there, you know what I'm saying? Just because he's not running in that grade 2, I wouldn't take it that he's necessarily not good enough to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. I was really taken by it. I just really like what he did, and he was powerful. It just reminded me of a Cheltenham performance in a weird way.
He's given weight there to a horse that was in behind. Let me just check and get it right for you now. I think he was in behind another Petite Secret or something like that of Willie's. Yeah. So there's a bit of a form line there as well that you can read off.
I think if they were to throw him into the DRF, I think that it's too much for him. When you consider, for his first run, you consider who the likes that Willie's going to throw in there. He's like the Redemption Day joystick. He has, what else do you have? He has My Great Mate. Then you're going up against the Dream to Share, who's the champion bumper horse already, and you have and Romeo Coolio, who's God apparently. I think that might be one too many for him. Not one too many, but a throw into the deep end too early in his career. I think they've done the right thing with him. Got the experience into him. There's an engine there. There's a massive engine there. And he goes at Cheltenham. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with. But look, as always, the DRF bumper is going to tell us a lot. Well, unless the Dream to Share or Redemption Day goes and wins it, then it's not telling you fucking much, really, is it? It's going like, oh, Christ, this is a bad bunch, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to figure out. But hopefully the markets will shape up a little bit in the wider scheme of things.
That'll be an interesting market to see the way it's going to. Will the Dream to Share be fair? He's surely going to be favoured, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
What price was he? What price was it before they took it down? 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
Yeah, fair enough. Really.
What's redemption day in threes? 7 to 2.
6.
Yeah.
6 to 1.
But that was at a time where you had 2 or 3 weeks out, and he's ground dependent. So I'd say that's factored in too as well. You know.
Joystick is the one now. I might have a scummy each way, but I think the lad has an engine, and he'll just keep battling and battling. There's something about him I like.
Yeah,
He's not
The
flashy.
juices are flowing, lads. Only 4
He's
more
not-
days to the preview.
Oh, we are. See, I thought Tom with all his little things. Now Sean is copping onto it now. Next Thursday, 8 o'clock live DRF preview.
can't wait. That's
See
it,
you
isn't
there.
it? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
All right. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comments. Please do like and subscribe to the video. And we're getting ready to the DRF. We'll see you in a few days.
Oh, baby.